Um, all right. So thank you so much for having me. I'm sad I can't be there in person. I was actually in Albuquerque earlier in the week, but I had to race back to a wedding that starts in about just over an hour. So I have to dart out as soon as this is done. But I want to take this opportunity to tell you about a project that I've been working on with my collaborators listed here. Soleil Hyman, who's a now graduate student at the University of Arizona. She's done a tremendous amount of work on this project. Wanda Diaz-Merced is a blind astronomer, so she's collaborated with us, especially in the early design of this. And Daniel Davis really helped early on with the first prototype and helping us with the design aspect. So the LightSound is, let's see there we go. So LightSound is a sonification tool. So it basically takes data and converts, in this case, light to sound. So we designed it with the idea of making a tool for the blind and low vision community. And so for those that are interested, this is the schematic of how it kind of works. So we have the circle, hopefully you can see my pointer, but the circle floorboard is a microcontroller. So that's where the simple program lives that takes the data and converts it to sound. There's a very high dynamic range light sensor that can handle the really large dynamic range from bright sunlight to full total eclipse. And then we have this MIDI board, which is what takes the data and we map it to an instrument. So the brightest sunlight we map to a flute sound, lower mid-range is a kind of a clarinet sound, and then it goes to a low clicking sound. And it has an audio output, so you can output it to headphones or you can output it to a speaker, depending on how you want to use the device. And it runs either off a 9-volt battery or we can connect it to a computer and get power that way. And the cool thing is if you connect it to a computer, you can also collect the data and use it to sonify the data later or, do some analysis with the data. Everything's open source. I'll give you the links later, but all the code, the instructions in English and Spanish, and we're converting them to French as well, since we go through parts of Canada. And you can find that all online. So hopefully this sound will work. I did share the sound. So this is going to give you an idea of what the eclipse would sound like in a sped up version. So the sensor is the little blue square here. So as this eclipses it, we can kind of pretend like we're experiencing an eclipse real quick. And it's like really low clicking. I don't know if you can hear it. And then we come out of eclipse. So we had this first prototype here, which we've improved greatly upon now at the 2017 eclipse. So we had 3 devices across the path. I was in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. And this is Wanda Diaz-Merced right here. She was in South Africa with her students. And so I streamed the sound on the internet. So her students and others around the world could join and listen in. And then we had 2 devices that were in Kentucky that this is from Morehead State University, where they collected some data. So our prototype worked. We were really excited, but we knew we had a little bit of work to do. So in 2019, 2020, it's around the time when Soleil Hyman joined our group. And she really worked on redesigning some of the sound aspect. And that's when we introduced the MIDI board and were able to get a more pleasant sound. So for 2020, we were able to build a number of devices and send them to Chile and Argentina along the path. And I love to show these 2 images because it really demonstrates kind of how you can use this device. So on the right, there's this young boy holding a single device with headphones on. And so he's having this individual experience and he's taking ownership of his data, and it can be unique to that individual. But you can also, on the left here, we have, La Portada Stadium in La Serena, Chile, which is like thousands of people. And then we have this table up front here, and there's a LightSound device on the table connected to its speaker. And so this group of individuals are now having a shared experience with this device. So, one device really can impact an entire event. You don't need hundreds of devices for everybody, but you certainly can have many devices. So we're actively preparing for the 2023 and 2024 Eclipses. We've started to build devices. We have funding. We just got some NSF funding, which is super exciting. So we can build 500 or so of these devices. So we've started to build them through various workshops, and we're going to be doing a big workshop in July. So we are going to be donating them free of charge to those that are interested in having some at your Eclipse events. You can scan this QR code. I'll also give the link at the end, and we will contact you and ship it to you. And for those of you that already did this, I will apologize that we're a little slower than we anticipated, but we will get these out. Hopefully by the summer, everything will be wrapping up. We're running a bunch of workshops. We're going to UT Austin next week, and then we'll be running one at Harvard in July. So really, these workshops are, multiple. They do multiple things, right? So the individuals taking these workshops are learning soldering skills. Often they're learning circuitry skills, and we're able to use this to build devices to be donated. So this person here on the right is Greg Mace he's actually from UT Austin. He took this workshop back in 2020 when we ran it at the AAS, and now he's actually hosting a workshop next week with us. So it feels like a real circular moment that we're able to do that with him next week with his RU students. We did a workshop back at the last solar eclipse workshop in Rochester, where we introduced this new 3D printed case, which we are super excited about. Thanks to Dan for making that happen. And then last month we were in the University of Arizona. We teamed up with the Time Step initiative. So it's giving minoritized students an opportunity to learn a new skill. So most of these students had never soldered before. So they're learning how to do this skill and put that on their CV. And like I said, next week we'll be at UT Austin, and then in July we'll be at Harvard running a big workshop. So we started with this prototype here. We had 3 in 2017. We had about 100 or so of these for the South American eclipses. And we're really, really excited that we just developed a PCB version of this. So it will drastically reduce so it's a printed circuit board. So now all the wires go away, and now it's just like ... with the soldering. So we will be moving forward, being able to make these much, much quicker. And you'll see the battery now runs off a lithium ion battery. So it's now rechargeable, which we're super excited about. So we haven't started building these yet, but I think our first iteration will be in July at Harvard. So this is the QR codes and the links. So LightSound, this takes you to the website where, like I said, everything's open source. You can get the code, you can get the 3D prints to make the case. You can get the instructions. You can also request a device there for free if you just want a device. Of course, my contact information. And I'll just say we have a second device called Orchestar, which is similar to the LightSound, except it works on color. So now red light is a lower tone and blue light is a higher tone. So this is a really exciting device that we're excited about, where you can actually reflect the light off of a poster, for instance, like shown in this image, and you can kind of get the color map of the image. So that'll be under development. We're really excited about that in the future.